Lesson 1, Digital Collage inspired by the work of Hannah Hoche. Today's lesson is about creating your own digital collage inspired by the collage artist Hannah Hoche. Who is Hannah Hoche? Hoche was a German artist that was part of the German Dada art movement in the 1920s and 30s. She was one of the pioneering women of the Berlin Dada group, and many of her works challenged political discourse and gender roles. What kind of art did she make? Hoche used some traditional cut and paste techniques in her collages, often using materials from prints, photographs, and magazines. For today's lesson, we will be focusing on one of her collages. So start to think of the question, what can you observe from her work as you look at the piece on the next slide? Today we'll be looking at this collage from Hannah Hoche, Indian Dancer from an Ethnographic Museum, 1930. Look at the collage, take it in, the imagery it represents, what you see, what shapes, what expression, and consider all those parts of the image, of the collage that you want to use in your own collage. To get my images, I went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art's website because they actually have a great collection of public domain images. You can go to their art collection, click on Open Access Artworks, and there you'll be able to search for whatever kind of images you want. I searched portrait, but you can search for any kind of image you want. I used The Flower Girl by Charles Cromwell Ingham, and this artifact fragment of a queen's face from the Amarna period. So I brought both of those images into Photoshop. First, I'm going to resize the Flower Girl image, and I use that using the resizing tool, which as a shortcut you can do either Command T, or there's the resizing tool at the very top, most upper left corner of the toolbar. And then I'm going to bring in the Queen's face fragment. So what I'm doing to cut out the image, instead of using scissors, I'm going to use the pen tool. Now I like to use the curvature pen tool because I think it gives it a more accurate cutout. It doesn't have harsh lines or angles. So I'm going to go around, just clicking around the edge of the face until I get it the most accurate. There's no bits of the background that's obviously standing out. It's as close to the statue's outline as I can get, okay? And then I'm going to select mask at the top, and then I can still adjust it a little bit. If there's any bits of the background, you can just click on it more and pull it down. And then I'm going to hit enter, or you can hit the check mark at the top. Again, I'm going to resize it. I use Command T and just the top corners to resize it. And now I'm going to match it up with the face. I'm using this kind of approach because that's kind of what's in the Hannah Hoche image, and I kind of want to emulate that. So I'm going to duplicate that layer, and I did that by right-clicking the layer, and you can see duplicate the layer. And what I'm going to do is select another mask around that, and I'm taking the topmost part of the fragment of the queen's face to kind of create a crown. So it's the same thing. I can use the pen tool for that to create whatever shape I want. So for this collage, I wanted to keep it very simple, have two source images. You can use more if you want. You can use dozens of images, whatever you want. But for this, I wanted to keep it simple, only have two images that I'm working with. Kind of similar to Hannah Hoche's piece, The Indian Dancer, where there are not a lot of source images included. It's really just focusing on manipulating one kind of image, one face, one portrait. Okay, so I've arranged my crown a bit. I have arranged the face, so it kind of matches up on the flower girl's face a bit. And now I'm just kind of adjusting the angle. Again, that Command T shortcut is very useful for this. I'm just adjusting the angles and making it into kind of a crown that I like. Okay. So now I'm just adjusting what layers go up and down. You can just click and drag layers above or below. Now I decided to cut out the flower girl from the background because after looking back at the Hoche piece, I saw that the Joan of Arc figure in the piece, taken from the film Joan of Arc, that one is cut out from the background, so it's just the head and the neck. So I kind of wanted to do a similar thing with this one, with the flower girl. However, I'm going to include more of the original image in there because I really like the flowers. I like that foreground and all the colors. So I'm going to color my background a solid color, so you can do the paint bucket tool on the left hand side in the middle, and you select a color, and then you can just hit that on the layer on the background. Make sure the layer is not locked. And then I wanted to add in another element in the background. So I actually brought in the original image of the flower girl again. And what I'm going to do is cut out just a rectangular shape. So I use the rectangular marquee tool, which is on the upper left-hand side on the toolbar. And then I adjusted the edges a little bit with the shift edge, and then I hit OK, right? And I'm gonna drag that down behind the flower girl layer, and I'm just gonna move it around a little bit just to see if it looks right, kind of match how Hannah Hoche's collage, the background is not perfectly center, it's not perfectly symmetrical, it's kind of at a shifted sort of position. Now I'm at the stage where I'm pretty happy with the layout and the look, and I'm just gonna tidy up some things. So I'm gonna use the magnetic lasso tool. This is an extra tool. You can also use the eraser tool. I know a lot of people are familiar with that one. What's helpful is to first convert your layer to a smart object layer. And then you can kind of cut in again, since you already did a mask before. Cut in again and clean up some parts that you don't want included. So I don't want some of the plants included in there. So then I feel pretty good about this collage. I really like how the colors are really bright. I liked the pink matching the flowers in the background. I like the crown, and comparing it to the Indian dancer collage, I can see kind of the influence. I can see the face over top of a face. It has very different emotions, definitely different kind of expression. But I still like that I got the influence from the kind of similar shape and layout of the collage. So hopefully this will inspire you to create your own digital collage. You can do it in any sort of way. You can do cut and paste as well in the traditional sense, or you can do it in a digital version with Photoshop on your computer. So you have lots of different options for approaching collage. Thank you for joining the lesson today.